Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hi, good afternoon or what? Good evening. New York, 6 o'clock. Yes, I am not recording. I am broadcasting actually live from Northwest Arkansas. Hello, and it's nice to see some familiar names in here. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lay Bella Ralston, and I'm also known as Mommy Lay on the internet. In behalf of Faber-Castell USA, we would like to thank all of you guys for joining in today's class. It's super excited. Hello, creatives. It's always fun to do this classes with you guys. If also, I'd like to ask everyone, are you guys familiar with brush lettering, or is this going to be your first class to take when it comes to brush lettering or hand lettering? But I'm seeing some familiar names, so hello. Okay, so I'm gonna go head over to the overhead camera and we are gonna go chat a little bit before we get the class started. We'll just talk about some supplies and, a little bit of those housekeeping. So, all right, give me 1 second here. There we go. Okay, familiar with their other classes. Hello, yay. Thank you. Thank you for joining again. Okay, so brush lettering. What is brush lettering? Brush lettering really is just a style of hand lettering, because when we say hand lettering, there's many different things. It doesn't just mean brush lettering. There's like creative lettering of prints, like bubbles, many different style, like the graffiti style, but it's like drawing letters. Okay, so today's class though, I will be using some Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens, and this is in brush tip. The Pitt Artist pens, it comes with many different tips. So it has the black specialty, it has like the extra fine, extra super fine, there's a super fine, and there's a fine, a medium, a 1.5. There's also a chiseled, a soft chiseled, and then a brush and a soft brush. But today's class, I'll be using just a regular brush nib like this. And what I love about the Pitt Artist pens is that because they are India ink, which means they're light fast, they're waterproof also when they dry. They don't have any foul smell or yucky smell, and also they do not bleed in my planner and journal pages. So that really is very important to me. Okay, so Kathleen said that this is her first time doing hand lettering. Okay, all right. Courtney, hello, Courtney. So today's class, we have a specific project that we're going to do. We're going to do a Christmas tree, but filled with beautiful letters. I hope that you're super excited about that. I've been doing a lot of Christmas crafting. Have you guys gotten your decorations ready? My house is already decorated since like the end of November. I think I skipped Thanksgiving. Oops, I'm bad, but it's okay. All right, so if you have your worksheets with you, we've provided some worksheets. You guys can print this at home and you can practice using those worksheets. You can print them over and over because you can trace over some of the strokes that we're going to go through quickly. This is not going to be really thorough and brush lettering because, as always, we don't have enough time to finish everything. But we'll talk a little bit about the simple 2 strokes that you'll be hearing me saying over and over again. I know that you guys are familiar with this, the thin and the thick strokes. When you hear the thin strokes, I also refer to the thin strokes as your upstroke. And then the thick strokes, or I also refer to as downstrokes. Okay, so these are the 2 things. Let us do it first. So thin strokes, or the upstrokes, is every time you would write away from you, or every single time you have this motion, you're writing away from your body. Let me zoom in real quick here. All right. So every time you write away from you, this is our thin strokes. And every time you would write towards you, this is your thick or your downstrokes. Now, simple things that will change your experience when it comes to hand lettering. Even if you're a lefty or you're a righty, try to tilt your paper. For example, I am super zoom in so we cannot see it. Let me zoom out again. All right, so when you write like this, just tilt it to your left if you're a righty. Now, if you're a lefty, it would help if you will tilt it to your right. I'm like, okay, this is to my right. Maybe not to your right. Okay, if you're a lefty, tilt to your right. So you can like right like this. That's many right. And then if you're a righty, tilt it to your left. Okay, that's our first tip. Second tip is the way you hold your pens or your brush pens. This is going to change everything again, because when I was first learning the hand lettering, the beautiful art of brush lettering, I was struggling with the thin strokes. This is because I am naturally heavy-handed when I'm writing. So the thin strokes comes unnatural to me. This is where I really have to be mindful and I really have to be intentional with every stroke and go slow. The second tip I'm talking about is the way you hold your pen. You're not going to hold it right like this directly, like when you're holding a regular pencil or a pen and you're writing down your documents. No, I want you to place your wrist on the table firmly, but relax also. But this is where I want your control to be. This is the one that's going to glide through your page. Even if you're a lefty, you're going to go like this. As long as you have a base and a good grip here, this is where all the weight should be. And even if you hold your pen like this, some people hold it like this, some here, some hold it to the very end. I like to hold it personally very close to the tip of the pen. This is where I feel like I get enough control. And notice how this is my 3 fingers. This is the only one moving. This is firm over here, placed on the table, because this is where I would get control. All right. Now, when I'm doing the upstroke or the thin lines, I notice myself adjusting how I hold my pen. I would normally go up a little bit here and then go down a little bit, because when I'm doing hand lettering, I am not writing like this. We're not going to write naturally like this. No, not that. When we're doing hand lettering, it's going to be one stroke after the other. It's like one letter after the other. But before you can create your letters, it's all about the strokes you do, just like that, and then like this, right? So when you're practicing your thin strokes, to me, like what I've mentioned, thin strokes is the hardest because I write heavy. So this is where I really place all my focus when I'm doing like, sorry about that, I am out of frame. So when I'm doing lettering, this is where, okay, I'm slowing down. And if you don't see it thin enough, that means you're not going light enough, right? So that's like, why is it not thin? Like, you know, how I see it online or how I see the worksheet, the way they did it is like, there's really a difference from the thin and the thick. And when I was first starting on learning, I couldn't see a much difference from my thin and thick strokes. It is because I wasn't going light enough when I'm doing my thin strokes. Okay, so just be mindful. But if you write light, then, you know, that's not going to be hard for you. Might be hard for you is when you have to do your downstrokes, because you have to be intentionally putting a lot of pressure in your pen. All right, so third, we did that placement of the wrist and all that, and the placement of the pen, relatively 45-degree angled. Now, the third tip that I'd like to share with you is that, what was I saying? Am I the only one? I do this sometimes. I'm like, I know I was going to say something, but I keep forgetting. It's the old age getting to me. The third tip, we did the wrist. Now, the third one I want to say is that I actually said that already, is that one stroke after the other, because when we do our letters, we're not writing in script. This is when I write script, I just don't lift my pen. The third tip is lift your brush pen. Rest after you do your stroke like that, then do it again, and then lift, and then do it again, and then lift, and then do it again, right? See, notice how I'm like pressing and applying pressure, and then I go really light, and then I lift my pen. So it's not one big stroke like this. That's not going to happen. All right. So let's go through the letters one by one. I wanted to share with you guys, when we do this project today, you don't have to do the brush calligraphy. It's okay if you don't feel comfortable enough yet to feel like, I don't really want to do the pressure of the hand lettering. You can still do it as a script, and that's still going to look really pretty. Concentrate on your regular handwriting. That's one thing I've noticed is when I was first learning, I would normally try to copy like a specific quote I see online, and then I would struggle. I struggled so much in the beginning. It's because everything was very unnatural to me, unnatural with the way I would, try to go light because I write heavy, and then unnatural because I don't normally write those letters that way. I hope you're following me. So if you normally would write your letter A this way and not this way, then if you are just starting to practice this, I would just stick with this one. So write how you would normally write, but by being mindful of your pressure, then it's going to look beautiful. So I know those fancy things with swashes and flourishes, it's really a little overwhelming in the beginning. So I don't want you to focus on the flourishes and swashes like that, because that comes later, really later, because I'm just about now practicing those flourishes and swashes. I want you to really concentrate on practicing the strokes first, then building your letters, and then building words, and then sentences, and then quotes. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get another piece of paper. Before we get this class started, let's talk a little bit about papers too. Papers are super, super duper important when you're using a brush pen. The reason to that is because when you're using brush pen like this, the Pitt Artist, it's made out of felt. And one thing that you're going to notice is that if your paper is not smooth enough, you're going to fray your pens quickly. And you don't want that. Of course, you want to use it as much as you can, as long as you can. But the good news is that the Pitt Artist, let me just do it real quick. If you guys have it, get a tweezer with you. Know that you can flip this one, and you have two nibs actually. So if you feel like the tip of that one is frayed, you can flip it and then use the other part of it, right? So you're like getting two pens in one. And also, this is another tip that it's just a personal, okay? It's a personal thing for me because I like my thick strokes to be really thick. I have learned that since you can adjust your nib like this, I have adjusted mine and just kind of pulled it a little bit so that I can really bend this pen and not worry about getting too much pressure in this. So it's easier to get those down strokes and thick strokes like that because I've adjusted it just a little bit. I pulled the nib just a little bit and I can easily bend it and it snaps back into doing my thin strokes. So that's just another tip. And again, it's a personal preference. You might not like it, but I really like it that way. Okay, so for this class, we're going to do a Christmas tree. You can do this two ways. You can use your pencil. I love using pencil. And of course, your eraser, if you have that with you, and just kind of like draw a triangle there. You can also use some washi tapes if you'd like, and just create a triangle. This way you can just, have all the words inside your triangle if you like. But I think personally, I'm just going to draw a very light triangle. Now, the size of your triangle is the size of your tree. So if you want like a big tree, if you write big like me, then you're going to want a big tree because we have a lot of words today. So I'm just going to really write big. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to draw a triangle that way. All right. Okay. Here we go. You won't be able to see my trace because it's really light. Now, one thing that you'd like to practice as early as now, I've learned this the hard way, is to use a pencil first. It really is very helpful. Because at first I was just doing my lettering and then I would not be able to fit in the word or fit in the whole sentence or, fit in the whole quote. And it gets really frustrating. And I would get often, upset with myself. It's like, because if I used a pencil, then I would not have to worry about that. All right. So I want to put in, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm just writing the questions to chat as well. Is it cold press watercolor paper too rough? Oh, definitely yes. Yeah, the watercolor paper is really rough, especially the cold press one. But knowing, understanding that that's going to be textured and all that, then know that your pen is going to fray. But it just, I like using watercolor paper too. Those are the things like you only live once. I'll just get another pen. Okay, so here we go. In our sample and the practice sheets that I gave you, I did have some berries on top. So I'm going to draw 3 circles in here. We're going to reserve that for the berry. Maybe you want to change it. Maybe you want to make yours into a star. That would work as well. Let me see this. I'm using a marker paper. This is really super smooth. So I'm going to draw my leaves like this, like that. And then I'm going to move my paper this way instead of me trying to struggle. So I'll do that. Can you guys see how I'm doing my leaves? All right, let's do this again. This, like this, like this. And then I'm going to go move my paper again to the other side so I can do my leaf on this side. So just 1, 2, 3. Do it the other side. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we're going to write our words. Go. So we wish you a Merry Christmas. Now this is going to depend on how big your writing is. I do hope that you have a paper in there. You have a pencil. So let's do the we in here first. So I'll just write we. Just write in the script. And then some of the words we're going to write a little smaller because we want to fill it in that line. So that's why my we is really big, because that's the only word on top. Now we're going to go write wish on the second line. So wish. Practicing hand lettering is really a different experience for each individual, because we all have different struggles. Like with me, like what I said, I write big, and so the struggle for me is writing in small. So if you naturally write small, then you're going to struggle with writing big. Okay, so in the third line, we're going to try and fit in the word you and a. So you. Okay, I'm just writing light. Letter A. We wish you a. Okay, next is Mary. I want the Mary here. Okay, so this is one of my struggles. Now look at this U in here. I know that my M is going to be in here. So I'm going to have to adjust that letter Y later. But good thing we are using some pencils, because that is one thing that you cannot change if you're using marker already. So we wish you a merry, like that. So I'm just going to erase my letter Y in here and kind of move it in and move it where that space in my letter M. You might not be able to see it too clearly because it's a pencil. See, I've erased it so that now this is going to fit that letter Y, the tail of the letter Y is going to fit in between my letter M, like that. Got it? Okay. So next one is Christmas. Just adjust it like that. So we have letter C, and H. Here we go. Ooh, this one is going to work perfectly. An A, and I think I'm going to make my letter S slightly bigger just to fill in that space on that side. And that's okay. There you go. Wish you a Merry Christmas. And look how big of a space I still have. Oh, okay. I'm just going to adjust that later. Wish you a Merry Christmas. And A, I'm going to move. Now, notice how I'm going to do my and A, because knowing that my H is going to be big, so I'll have all the H in here on this side. So I'm going to adjust my A. I'm going to start my letter like below my letter H. So I'll start my A in here. Okay, and now you probably have a much bigger space now because we're going to the bottom of our tree. So you might want to start writing a little bigger. I'll adjust those swashes so we can have a little bit like that. See, notice I just added a little tail in here. And then this one too from here. So and A, then this one is going to be big, happy. I'm going to fill in this one big space in here. So right, H. Okay. So I am going to pull in my H in here because I have this one big space. I'm just going to make it really big. H. Let's see what that's going to look like. We might not have to. Okay. Let's try it if we don't. Say H in here. But if you're struggling with composition with your quotes and, you know, words and all that, this is really the key, is using a pencil. Okay. Now I think I'm going to make my word happy all capital so that I can really fill in this space. So H, word happy. And letter Y. Here. Okay, and then new year. And look how my W, like that. Like that. And then year on the other side. I'm going to leave it like just like that first because we're going to add some swashes in there. So this is one thing that I have learned through the years, is that if you like to play around with your swashes, or some people like to call it flourish, is that I did my regular Y this way, right? Now what we're going to do is we're just going to go take this round. It's kind of like it just did a roundabout, like turn around and then went back in the middle all the way here, and then slowly curved again going up, right? Okay, now this time, if you're done with your sketch, just kind of like look at your whole design again. And this is where you're going to make your adjustment before we start laying down our brush marker. Now, I'm not truly happy with some of my letters with the word happy, ironically. So I'm just going to erase my letter A and the first letter P. One thing about having a consistent slanting, if your letters are slanted to the left, I mean to your right, you want everything slanting to your right. You don't want things straight. One is straight, the other is slanting to the left, the other is slanting to the right. So that's one thing that you want to be consistent of. If everything is like tilting over here or slanted to your right, you want all the letters to look like that, because visually it's just what's going to make it look good. So that's the reason I'm changing my A, because it's a little bit straight and that just didn't look good to me. So I'm just adjusting, doing my letter P. See, I did my letter A's tail too long. So let's adjust that so I can do the tail of the P as well. So here we go. Oop. Too much of a belly. See, if we're doing this in brush marker already, you'll be like, ah, nah. That's why it's important we have our handy dandy pencil. Here we go. Right, I just wanted to make sure that I have the same size of the belly so it will look great. So everything will look uniform. Okay, so I'm done with my sketch. I'm happy with this one. It looks great. We can just fill in later with some stars, with some berries and all that. But what I like to do, oops, forgot the little thing for my letter T, is I use a kneadable eraser. This is one thing I really love to use. I don't think I use regular eraser anymore because I don't know, it just works so perfectly for me. What I like to do is kind of like roll it. I mean, this is not the first time you guys see me using this, but I just like roll the eraser all over my artwork. And it doesn't have those suds and all that. I don't have to clean up constantly. This is just really, it works a wonder. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to lighten my sketch. So I know it seems a little bit counterproductive, but it really works that way. And actually later, I'm also still going to clean up because I'm not erasing thoroughly. I'm just trying to lighten this first layer of sketch that we have. Especially if you're going to use some light brush pens, then you might want to go erase really light, because you won't get that opportunity again later. You might not be able to cover up your sketch if it's really dark, depends on the pencil that you use. Okay, to me, I'm really happy with this one. Now, the colors that I'm using, if you don't have it, it's okay. Or if you don't want to do the traditional Christmas colors, that's great too. That's fine. I'm going to use the Pale Geranium Lake. What is the eraser's name? Yeah, Miss Chris is going to help you guys with that one. That is from Faber-Castell as well. They have that in the red, and then I have it in gray also. So I'll use the Pale Geranium Lake, and then I will use the leaf green for my letter green. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, these are brand new pens, so I'm gonna pull it just a little bit. Thanks. Okay, just the way I like them. Just pulling it just a little bit. There. This just gives me that pretty bounce of my letters, and you're gonna see that it's so much easier to press and get that thick stroke without having to really put so much pressure, because, you know, when you do this a lot, it can really get tiring. So just pulling that nib just a little bit, it was just so much easier to create that thick strokes for me. All right, so first I'm going to write the letter we, but in red first. So we're going to switch it. So what you want to do is that, okay, so I'm visualizing that the U and A is going to be red. So I'm just going to skip one line. So we'll start with with the word we. Remember, when you're writing towards you want to press just a little bit to get that thick strokes. But before you do that, because we can't erase it anymore, I want you to pick up your brush pen first and just do something for me real quick, because I want you to get comfortable first with your brush strokes and just do a little bit of thick strokes, a little bit, just slightly, so you can get comfortable with the brush and do your thin strokes, go up, just lines, going up, slanted lines. It is really, really important to warm up. Even if I do this like all day, I still do warm up before I do my line work or brush letter like this on top of my sketch, because it is a little bit scary when you can't erase it. I'm going to do the same thing with the other brush too. See how much thick I can go because I adjusted this nib. So just understanding how much thickness you want. I'll go light and I'll press down. So do this exercise. This is a good practice. Go up, slight and light pressure, and go down. Okay, go up very, very light and then go down with pressure. All right. Okay, deep breaths. We're going to do this. So we start with the word we. Here. Okay, all right, here we go. Be mindful, just take it one stroke after the other. It's going to be okay. All right, so letter W, go slow, take your time, go up lightly. I'm going to pause right there. And I'll go press just a little bit by using the body of my pen. And then I'll go here like this and then apply pressure. Okay. I'm going to go over it again. Here we go. I'm going to go skip one line and go to the words U and A. You guys already know I try to, I have this tendency to be quiet when I'm like doing a work. So it's like, oh, I forget you guys are there. But I think that that's the beauty of doing any creative work, really, whether it's like brush lettering or whether it's doodling or painting. You kind of get into this zone, and it's like super relaxing, and it's like meditation. Right? I'm just going over the strokes that I did already. Also, because I thought I erased enough, but I didn't. I can still see some of my sketch marks in there. Right now, I'm going to skip over one line. I'm going to do the Christmas in red. I don't know why my camera is having a hard time picking up. There you go. So we do the Christmas. Here. See how I'm lifting my pen? Go up, and then I lift it down, and up, pressure, up, going my T, if you notice your lettering, like what I mentioned in the beginning, if you don't see much of a difference between your thin and thick, maybe you're not going light enough, or maybe you're not putting enough pressure to get your thick lines. Those could be, those two things. It could be that you're not going light enough, or it could be you're not pressing enough, putting enough pressure to create your thick strokes. So I'm just going to go over it again. Yikes. I hope I'm not the only one that when I'm trying to go over my first layer, it's like I always mess it up the second time around. Even it's like my sketch is super perfect when I'm drawing and and then I have to do my line work. For some reason, it's just never turned out perfect, but it's part of the process, I suppose. Okay, then we'll do the word happy this time. I hope my word happy is tilted enough. I hope I did it correctly. Okay, so letter H. I'm gonna go really thick on this one. So these are big letters. Like this. E. Sometimes I have this tendency to go really fast, because sometimes I feel like my lines are much better when my motion is faster. But who am I kidding? It's not always the case. Just take your time, Lay. And then take your time too, guys. So up, down, doing that scoop, and then up. How's yours turning out? Okay, I'm going to go over the same word again. Okay. Yep. I'll share with you a little bit of secret. When I was first learning hand lettering, I would normally, I was saying the words up thin, down thick. It was like over and over. And then eventually it was just in my head. But I think what helped me is like, okay, thick going down. It's just thick going down, thin going up, thick going down, and then thin going up. All right, okay. Whew. Now we're going to do our letter greens. All right. Let's go move to the word wish this time. Okay. To me, what's easier is to do bigger letters because it's super natural to me. So if you're going first learning, practicing, write big first, because you just want to get used to that thin and thick, thin and thick, thin and thick. Because if you want to try and practice in small, if that's already a struggle, you don't want to put another struggle on top of what you're, struggling with, the thin and thick. So if you naturally write big, then write big first while you're practicing this. Now, wish. What a difference it makes when I pulled that nib. I can really create those thick lines easy. Much easier. There. Go over that. Like this. Now, with this project, you can actually make your own card with this one, or you can make it in a big one like this, then scan it in your paper, in your computer, and then you can have it printed. Wouldn't that be super pretty? Okay, the next one is the word Mary. Going down. Letter M is such a perfect letter to practice your thin and thick strokes because you have this curve, or a letter W too will work as well. So M, because that's thin and then thick, thin and then thick. So letter M is a good word, good letter to practice. Okay. It's always a struggle, that thin strokes. It's like I feel like my hands are shaking every time I try to go slow. But the thin strokes taught me and is still teaching me to slow down. So it is a very good lesson in life too, not just in lettering. Okay, we have the word Mary. Okay, now we are in the words end and a. Now, how I would normally do this is I would just follow the way I wrote the word. So I'm not going to worry about the flourish first. I'll do that later. I'll just write the words end and a, now how I would normally write it. So a, and then we can add that flourish later. Thin, thick, thick, thin, thin, thick. There. All right. Then letter A. Okay. So go over it again before I add my flourishes. There. Okay, now I'm going to go do those extra flourish in here. So I'm just going to go start from where I left off and just go really slow. Add that. I'll go over it again with a second layer. Okay, and I'll do the same over here. Look at this one. What feels natural to you, from left to right or from right to left? You know, those are the little things that, you know, I don't think about when I'm writing, or when I was first learning. Now that I've been writing and writing and writing, I notice that, you know what, I feel more comfortable because I write naturally from here to here. So not from here to here. So I'm going to pull this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start from the tip till the end, and I'm going to bring it into my letter A. Now, what for you, you might find it more natural to pick it up from here and go over here. But me, I'm going to start here and I'm going to go over there. So I'll do that. There we go. Last words, new and year. Wow, 2022, can you imagine it? I feel like it was just last week when I was first creating a vision board for 2021. It's super crazy. Time flies so fast. Letter N, there we go. Letter E. And when you go over a sketched image, it can be two things. Sometimes it's to me, sometimes it's a negative, sometimes it could be positive. It's a positive because I can work my composition, and it always works that way. The negative to me is that I feel super confident with my strokes because I know that there's my sketch. So I'm not being overly mindful, and I just mess things up. So just go slow One, especially with this washes. Look, I don't even know. I'm going to stop over there and then pick it up from here. Know that you don't have to do your whole stroke at one time. So notice I stopped in there in the middle, kind of like I did my going down scoop like this, the tail, how I would normally do it. And then I kind of paused in there to do that swashes. Okay. Oh, Susan, thank you so much. That means a lot to me, guys. Okay, so letter E. Get it over here. Letter A. Going up again. And then bring it up. Bring it up, bring it up. Here we go. I'll do that again. And you know, if you're using Faber-Castell's Pit Artist, these are waterproof and also these are light fast, which means these colors, vibrant colors, will remain vibrant many years to come. So if you're using a journal for this, or you can keep this and know that it's going to stay like this for quite a long time, actually. And then it's not going to get ruined by rain because it is waterproof. So you don't have to worry about that. Letter E. Next week, guys, we're going to do paint. Actually going to draw Santa Claus in a very simple and fun, easy way. Oh, look, we did it. Look. Okay, so I am going to do my leaves first. I feel like I really need to erase some of my sketch first, especially with this one. This is not light at all. Make sure that. See, no eraser suds. Ah! Absolutely. So let's draw the holly leaves. I'm going to do it in a piece of paper first so I can make it big. All right. Trust me. First, also, I was super crazy confused how to do the holly. So let's do that like that. Start with that. Let's see. I can do it, zoom in like this. So you can bring it up or go down. So you can go up, but it's slanted to your left. All right, I'll do it again here. So you can go like this. And then you would bring it down, scoop it, and then go up again. And go scoop down again. And then if you want just like that, then you have, or if you want to add another one. Let's finish this and then do, and then go. And bring it down, that. And then that. I'll do it again. This time we'll do 3. Okay. Here, go up, like that. Add the middle part. If you want, you can start with your line. So you kind of know this might help you. So if you want to start with the line first and then bring it, pull it from the bottom, go up, this, and then this. So you know where your middle part is. That might be extra helpful. Go down, go down. Yeah, that might be much better. So let's do that again. Start with a line like that. And from here, I'll go up, one more, and then last. And so where I stopped in the middle, I know where my middle is. It's not going to make you, because look at the difference from when I first did that And then I did it with the line, much, much better with the line first, started with the line. So let's do that again here, bring it down, and then I'll go down. All right, I hope that was helpful. Now I'm gonna do it in my, bring it over here. I'll do the berries first. So go to the circle. And then fill in the circle. There. There we go. All right, sometimes just a tiny little thing like that really does help so much, like that starting with a line. Look at that. I started with the line and then it's gotten so much better for me as well. So let's start here. I'll go over there. I'll go bring it up in the middle like this, like that. And a meet down. Definitely much, much, much better. Switch, move my paper around. And then this time it also gives you a direction where you want your leaves to go. For example, I want it to really go bend down. Then with that line, it'll help you so much better to visualize it. So from here, I'm bringing it up again. Like that. Like that. Switch over to my paper and I want it to go here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. These are actually super pretty. Just open like this. I'm not sure if I want to fill it in. Maybe I'll just add some veins in the middle. So, yeah, I think I'm going to keep it open. So it's up to you. You can fill it in with colors or you can just leave it open like this. Just added like little tiny veins in the middle. Just like that. There we go. How's that looking? Look, it's super pretty. Now, okay, what did Polly said? Polly asked, did anyone else have the sketch picture print out only partially? Sketch picture printout. I'm not sure I understand that. Look, that's so pretty. Now, what you can do with this, you can start erasing some of those base first sketch that we created and also that triangle. So we can just clean up our artwork. No eraser suds. I love it. Clean it up this way. Now, I know you know, if this is not your first time joining the class, you know that I like trying to fill in some of the areas with like stars or adding more berries in here, stuff like that. Right? Yes, I'm so glad that was helpful because sometimes it's like even with myself, I try to find the basic, super simple way to explain it and to teach it. I want it to be relatable because sometimes the technical terms are even more overwhelming to understand. So it's like really having that one basic shape in the middle, that line, it starts with that and it changes everything. So I'm super glad that that helps. Now with this one, you can leave it this way, or you can add some berries if you see some areas where it needs filled in. For example, for the new and the year, If you want to add like some leaves in here, then you can. You could definitely do that. Maybe I can add some eucalyptus looking vines. Just that basic. You can fill in and add some stars on the side if you have some metallic markers. Now, if you have a fine tip, what you can do is go over some of your whole artwork and add some tiny, super fine lines and do that. I normally just really like it this way. Now I can add something in here, like a little teardrop, just really accentuate some things. Like this, do it on the other side. Like that. Like this way. But yeah, I mean, this is super pretty. Maybe I can add a little bit of just berries looking in there. I like to do things in 3, that rule of 3. But just be careful when you're adding some accents and things like that. You want it to be readable. Your whole quote, you want it to be readable and not super crazy with all the accents, because sometimes it's like it's looking like a dot, or it's looking like, you know, maybe it will appear like a letter and it'll be hard for others to read it. So those are the only things that are important when you're trying to add accents, is that don't make it take away from the whole artwork. It's like you want to add, but you don't want it to be distracting at the same time. Sometimes the simple really is the best way to do it. But isn't that super fun? Oh my gosh, let me just switch over to my other camera. Here we go. Hey, oh my gosh, thank you again. I hope that was fun for you guys. That was really a very relaxing time for me. Again, would like to thank everybody for joining in. Your time is precious and you've spent it with me today. I really appreciate that. I do hope that you can join again. Our next class will be doing some Santa, and I'm sure that you're going to enjoy it as well. But you can just head over to michaels.com and look for more classes. January, we have some fun classes too, and I'm super excited about it. But please stay well and be healthy, stay happy, stay creative. And until next time, until next week, thank you, everyone. God bless you all. Thank you so much.